Joining us now is Karnataka's Revenue Minister Krishna Gowda, who has expressed reservations, remember, at the meeting over a fiscal cliff for the state, their primary concern of revenue loss for the state. Thanks very much, Krishna, for speaking to us. The new GST slab comes into effect today. The Prime Minister has hailed it as a gift of savings to the nation, and there is a lot of optimism of increasing demand. Do you still have reservations? What's the state's position on this?
We have been supportive of the proposal for rate rationalization and rate reduction. There was no disagreement on that issue, and we have supported it. Let us be very clear about it, because quite often, very conveniently, issues get mixed up. And so I want to state at the outset, there is no disagreement on the rate rationalization and reduction. In fact, we have supported it. Very categorical, period, full stop. Now, the disagreement is in the way the center has placed all the burden of this rate reduction on the states. States are likely to lose anywhere between 1 to 1.5 lakh crores of revenues. So it is going to hit at the very core of their fiscal stability. It is likely to disrupt the physical stability of the states. In the long term, this could make the states dependent on the center, which means the state's autonomy will be hit. And if the state's autonomy is hit, because state's fiscal autonomy is hit, then you are hitting at the very core of federalism itself. So this is not cooperative federalism. This is a one-way diktat from the center, and this is going to hurt the states. At the same time, my calculation is that while the states lose about 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh crores of rupees per annum, the center may end up raking in 50 to 60,000 crores of additional income to their kitty. So the center benefits and the states lose. So this is not in the interest of the union. This was our only concern and demand, that the states be their revenue losses be taken care of. And let me step one step further and tell you that we did not expect a single pie from the center's kitty to compensate for the states. We only suggested that the erstwhile cesses, which are now being taken over by the central government as a central tax, they be continued, and that money be used to compensate for the loss of the states. So we were not placing any additional burden on the center. We were supporting the rate rationalization. We were only seeking protection for the loss of revenue by the states. However, the center did not take our concerns seriously. They were quite dismissive.
Right. Mr. Gowda, has there been any conversation with the center on this after the announcement? Has there been any response on this? What really is the way forward then?
Well, the conversation tends to be in the format of convening of a meeting and, sitting together and discussing some issues. And then, I have my say, you have your way. That is, if you call that a conversation, that's where the conversation ended. If at all that is a conversation, that, I have my say and you have your way. And that's the way this central government is functioning. And I'm unfortunately, I have not seen any further movement on this issue. So I have to assume, not being privy to any other designs or the plans that the center might have, I have to conclude that there has been no progress on this issue.
Okay, there is a political overtone to this exchange. We leave that aside. There are those who argue that increase in demand, Krishna, and the buoyancy will by itself offset any dip in revenue for the state. Would you agree with that? What's your message to the center?
2 points. If the buoyancy or the rising tide is going to lift everybody, then what is the difficulty in agreeing for a revenue protection? Then the revenue, if the buoyancy is going to take care of itself, and any assurance of a protection is only an insurance. What do you have to lose from it? The easiest thing the center could have done is to agree to revenue protection, because if you're so convinced that there is going to be, a widening net and a buoyancy in revenues, then the easiest decision would have been to agree to revenue protection. Why wouldn't you agree if you're so convinced by your own argument? Let me turn it around. And if you're so convinced, it would not have cost you anything, but it would have earned you a lot of goodwill. So if you are so, self-confident, what prevented an agreement? This is on that level. Number two, kite flying is the easiest thing we can all do. Today spinning theories is the favorite pastime in this country. I would draw your attention to facts. You look at every time there has been a rate cut since the inception of GST, it has led to net revenue loss. This is a fact. And this is an ironclad, watertight, 100% proven fact. Every time this buoyancy argument has been used, and every time it has only led to drop in revenue. This is the fact. Now, whether you want to go with fancy kite flying or you want to base your discussions on hard facts is a choice you can make. I'm not going to argue with you, because in this country, sometimes arguing on facts seems like a losing proposition from the word very get-go, right? So your choice. But in the past, the increase in the net or the increase in compliance or the widening of the base, none of this or all of them together have not offset the loss in revenue due to such decisions in the past. So I'm basing myself on the hard physical past experience. You are making a very fancy argument. We will see what happens.
We will see what happens, you say. Krishna Baira Gowda there, a combative Krishna Baira Gowda, revenue minister in Karnataka, making those arguments both emphatically and with a lot of articulation. Vasudha, we'll have to wait and see how the numbers play out both for the state, the center, and for businesses.